Hello, welcome back to the Fantasy Football Show. Trevor Lane to my right. I'm Zach Bruner. Luke Reimer will join us once we are around the wide receivers, probably. He's just driving home from work. And this is the ranking show. So, just like every single week, we will be going position by position, breaking down the top five, then comparing the rankings to the rest of the industry consensus to see who we're higher, lower on. And everything's in half PPR because Fantasy Pros does that for some reason. So that's what I'm graded on. That's what we will share with you. Trevor, got anything to say before we just jump into these quarterbacks?
I wish I did. I wish I did so badly, but I do not.
Fair enough. I don't either. So yeah, quarterbacks. Let's just jump into it here. Obviously, my rankings are on flurrysports.org if you want to follow along here. Quarterback one, I have Lamar Jackson at Miami tomorrow night. Quarterback two, I have Josh Allen at the Jets. Dak Prescott at 3 versus the Falcons. Aaron Rodgers at 4 versus the Seahawks. And Tom Brady at 5 at Washington. What do you think of those 5 players?
With the way Mahomes is playing, I don't really think you can argue it too much. Prescott's an interesting one in there. Obviously, he should be able to. He plays a very bad Atlanta team. He's still barely hanging on to a top half quarterback this year. Granted, he's missed 2 weeks, but his play has been anything but inspiring for fantasy. Although he's 3, and I think I agree with that, if I have him, I'm still not exactly happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the deal was last week. He was trying to play that 1 week versus the Vikings, so it didn't seem like he was that hurt. But last week he was bad, clearly. You would think this is a bounce back week. I think it will be, obviously, by where I'm ranking him. But if he does not play well versus the Falcons, I think we can sound the alarm bells or whatever you want to say. Because, this is a defense that he absolutely should take advantage of. The Falcons aren't that great. I think their defense is underrated, but that doesn't mean that they're good by any stretch of the imagination. Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to jump right into like how everybody else is ranking him because I'm 3 spots higher than the consensus on Aaron Rodgers. I have him at 4. Consensus is at 7. I mean, like I just don't see a scenario where Rodgers doesn't go off this week. Personally, like he plays the best when he's angry. He clearly has plenty to be angry about. Packers own the Seahawks in Green Bay. I just think like by all accounts, this should be a really big Rodgers week. Also, he gets the wide receivers back together. He hasn't had that for a while. So I don't know. Do you have any disagreements with that?
No, I mean, I don't see why it would be any difference. Like, he torched this team in the playoffs. Was that 2 years ago, I think?
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago. Their defense is worse. I mean, like you said, he has all his options, and he is very mad, as he should be. Neither here nor there. But especially with the way like guys like we've talked about it, Mahomes and Prescott are playing, and with some of the other matchups with Wilson coming back, we don't know how he'll look. With all those question marks, I don't see how he's not top 5.
I agree. Ryan in the chat from Facebook, what do we think about Desean Jackson? He seems like a budget version of Henry Ruggs in that offense. Like, I think he can do everything Henry Ruggs can do. I just think he's going to be on the field for less snaps than him. So the opportunity's lower. This
Yeah,
week, specifically, he plays the Chiefs. So, I mean, he's going to have opportunities. Obviously, Sorensen at safety for the Chiefs. He, by no stretch of the imagination, is an amazing safety. So I think there's a chance he gets loose for one. But like, would I project him for 2 catches? I don't think so. Like, I think he has a chance for 1 catch. And could it be an 80-yard touchdown? Yes. Could it be an inaccurate pass by Derek Carr? Absolutely. He's totally boomer bust for me.
Yeah, this isn't 2012 anymore or 2010. Like those times have come and gone. He's a good player, but unfortunately, he wasted a lot of his twilight years in bad teams. And he's just not what he's. I mean, we're not going to see them go to him 6, 7, 8 times a game. And even if he did, he might only catch 4 or 5, which makes him pretty much irrelevant anyways.
It's also worth noting, like I think all they're going to do is simply plug him into the Henry Ruggs role, which is fine. But I'm overgeneralizing when I say I think he's just a budget version of Henry Ruggs. Like I think he does some stuff better, some stuff worse. And like, who's going to be drawing up plays? Who's going to be like staying up at night being like, how do we get Desean Jackson involved? Because I would have trusted John Gruden to do that and to come up with creative ways to use him and find ways to get him open. I don't know about this Raiders team. I don't know if they can do anything creative. I don't think they can color outside the lines where, John Gruden drew the outline for them. I just don't think they're doing anything that he didn't already put into place.
There are very few teams he would have an impact anymore at all, really.
Agreed. Back to the quarterbacks here. Relevant ones, I would say. I'm still waiting on the Kyler Murray news to see how healthy he is, what he's going to do. I don't love the matchup against Carolina anyways. So I have him at 13. Could I see him move into my top 10? Absolutely. I don't think he's going to be moving very high into it, though. Like, I would feel comfortable putting him above Derek Carr, above Russell Wilson. I don't think I can move him ahead of Stafford. I just don't trust a less than 100% Kyler Murray, personally.
And I also don't know why Arizona would throw a less than 100% out Kyler Murray. Like, Colt McCoy, I don't think he's that good. He looked damn good last week. Like, you'd be stupid to not throw him out there. And it's, like you said, it's Carolina. They're going to be mad too. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets hurt even worse. I feel like it's a game where Carolina's offense is so bad. I mean, they're going to be starting PJ Walker. That why even waste your time? You should be able to beat these guys easily anyways.
Yeah, I think there's larger concerns if they can't beat this team, with Colt McCoy. Obviously, like you said, this is kind of a meaningless game. I don't know their schedule. I would assume it's a divisional opponent next week, so next week's going to be more important. If you lose Kyler Murray in week 10, your Super Bowl chances are done anyway. But speaking of PJ Walker, he's a kid I love. I'm a kid. I mean, he's been around for a while. But I like PJ Walker a lot. XFL stud. That was also my analysis for Dearness Johnson. I guess it kind of worked out. But PJ Walker's super good. He's super mobile. He is like the definition of a playmaker, which is the opposite of of Sam Darnold. He's just inconsistent. He's going to take too many chances. I don't trust his arm to make the throws 100% of the time. That's why he hasn't gotten a starting job. But he could go out and win this game against the Cardinals by himself. Like, he's a capable player. He's someone who's capable of that. But he's also more than capable of passing for 20% with 3 picks. So I have him at 22. I'm guessing that's higher. That's 7 spots higher than the consensus. I feel perfectly happy with my ranking. Obviously, we don't have a lot to go off of Trevor. If you were if you were relying on Sam Darnold, would you feel okay plugging him in? Or would you rather go to somebody like Trevor Lawrence?
There are so many other options. I like PJ Walker. Granted, the XFL, let's not act like it was the same talent level as the NFL, but he still made them look like high school kids, which tells you a lot. And they had some good players in the XFL too. His arm, like you said, it's inconsistent, but when it's there, it's money. Like, he was making some absolute dimes on deep throws in the XFL. So he has the talent, just whether he can do it. Luckily it's not his first start. I think that's a one good thing. So you don't have to worry about those jitters. But I mean, there are so many guys that are free agents that are going to be available to pick up on waivers unless you're in like a 32 team league. So I wouldn't bother with him.
He also knows his offense better than Sam Darnold. Not just because he's been in it for a year, but he also played in it at Temple under Matt Rule. And I'm just thinking about this now. I believe Robbie Anderson was his teammate in college. So, if he could be someone to buy low on, it's certainly an interesting play for DFS this week. I'll probably move Robbie Anderson up on that little bit alone because there's clearly no chemistry between Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold for whatever reason, but I think there probably could be with PJ Walker and him. So I think that's interesting. Other quarterbacks I'm higher on, I have Ben Roethlisberger at 15. That's 4 higher. I might lower him a little bit. I ranked him prior to the Chase Claypool news. It sounds like Claypool's not going to be playing this week, but he's still going to be a top 18 guy for me. And then Trevor Lawrence, I have at 19, which is also 4 spots higher. Do you have anything to say about either of those guys?
No, I mean, this Steelers offense it's sad. Like, it's really bad. Like, I watched the Bears Steelers game, and both teams have good defenses, but Mac was out. I think they had another defensive lineman out and their safety out, Eddie Jackson. Like, they're still a good defense, but I mean, this offense was atrociously bad. The play calling is horrible. Like you said, you take out Chase Claypool. I mean, their version of pizzazz, so to speak, is a jet sweep to Deontay Johnson. Like, everybody knows what's coming, and that's going to make it so much harder for him.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, I don't know why they're that bad, and I don't know why they would make a switch at offensive coordinator and go to Matt Canada. But whatever. They play the Lions this week, so I assume they'll make a play, but we'll see. Quarterbacks I'm lower on. I said Kyler Murray. I'm 4 lower on him. I have Matthew Stafford at 8, which is 3 lower. Consensus has him as a top 5 guy. And then I have Ryan Tannehill at 18, and that is also 3 lower. Tannehill plays New Orleans this week. I mean, did I click that? Does it look different for you? My screen looks weird. I don't know. Sorry, I got distracted by what's going on in the back end. It's so weird. Ryan also asked on Facebook, what do you do with Chuba Hubbard? What is James Conner going to do? And is James Conner going to continue to play well? I think James Conner is going to continue to be James Conner. Very clearly, when they get in close, they're going to give it to James Conner. I think you could see 1 or 2 more carries this week, but I think Benjamin's just going to slide up into that Chase Edmonds role. So I think Conner is going to continue to be Conner in matchups where you think the Cardinals are going to score a bunch of points. He's great. This week when they play the Panthers, he's less than great. Like, I think he's going to be okay, but certainly the touchdown upside is less. And Chuba Hubbard, don't drop him if you can keep him on your bench. You have to. You absolutely have to, just because of what we've seen Christian McCaffrey do, which is go all out, see too many touches, get hurt. And we know who the replacement is, and we know what Chuba Hubbard is when he's the RB1 there. So I think you have to keep hold of him personally if you can. Do you agree, Trevor? I think you're muted.
Yeah, I kept myself muted a little longer because I said some choice words. Yeah, I mean, I would keep him, but I think it also depends on where you are. Like, I'm one of those people in a weird situation right now where Kareem Hunt's injury really derailed my season. It was just one of those small things. So if you're kind of like me and you're kind of chasing a playoff spot and you need wins now, you might not have the luxury of having an extra. It's like you have a third person in here.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to, like, it looks weird on the stream side too, like people watching.
Anyways, it's like you might not have the luxury, in which case I think you drop him. I think that's okay. But I don't think, if you have the space, if you have the ability, then don't worry about it. James Conner, I agree with too. Everybody thinks he's going to get like 30 carries. It makes no sense. We talked about this yesterday too. It's not going to happen. And even if it does, his body's just going to break down. So he's going to continue to play well. He's going to get some touchdowns, but to act like he's about to be an elite RB1 is just kind of ridiculous. What'd you do to the settings, man? Come on. Be better.
Like, there's no option. I don't even know what I could have hit. It's really bothering me, though.
It's bothering me, too. Fix it.
I don't, like, okay. Any other quarterback you want to talk about?
Yeah, I do. While you figure that out or try to. Baker Mayfield as 23 is interesting. I'm not going to get my hopes up high for him either. I think there's a huge week for him. There we
Aha!
go. What'd you do? Fixed it.
I implemented the chat on the screen on accident.
Nice going. But anyways, back to Baker Mayfield. I think this is a big week for him. He looked amazing last week. Without OBJ,
Yeah.
that offense really spread it out. They didn't go to one person too much. I think it's a really good test. I don't know how he's gonna do, so I like the ranking. But I think if he puts together another solid performance, I think he might be a top 10 guy the rest of the year because New England is going to challenge him arguably more than anybody else in their division because they're so good at what they do. So I think this is a really good barometer for all of you guys and girls. If you're watching, watch this game because if you need a quarterback, this would have big implications on the rest of the season.
I will say I'm almost positive the Patriots are going to give him every opportunity to be a top 10 guy and to be great. I would assume the Patriots stop the run and say, hey, Baker Mayfield, beat us by yourself. And if he can do it, then he's going to have a great fantasy day. I am on the opposite side thinking he won't. I think J.C. Jackson's a stud of a corner that can shut down a wide receiver. So now you're saying, can Baker Mayfield, with an injured Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, and David Njoku, beat the Patriots?
Don't
think
say
so.
that. You can't leave out Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's been solid.
Yeah, J.C. Jackson will take him away. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I
He'll
thought you were
take him
talking
away.
about J.C. Jackson on the injured. Okay, I got you.
Oh, yeah, so like, yeah, I'm less high on him. We'll see if he proves me wrong.
Well, and also, stopping the run is easy when it's not Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt. Zach, get rid of it.
Me too.
Get your shit together.
I'm not even clicking near the thing.
But Nick Chubb, Felton, Hunt, like basically all their running backs are out. Like Dearness Johnson is a good player, but a hell of a lot easier to shut down.
Yeah, and we'll see about Chubb. They kind of changed the COVID news this week or rules this week, so he has a better chance to get back. So, yeah, we'll see. Speaking of running backs here, 1 through 5, again, half PPR scoring. Jonathan Taylor is my number 1. Najee Harris is my number 2. Dalvin Cook at the Chargers at 3. Christian McCaffrey 4 at the Cardinals. Austin Eckler 5 versus the Vikings. What do you think of those 5?
I would actually put Najee Harris at 1. I think this is a week he absolutely explodes. I think Jonathan Taylor does well too, but we kind of talked about it again yesterday. Najee Harris has not been good as a running back in terms of running the football. He has not been efficient at all. Granted, that's the onus is not all on him, but now he's playing a Lions defense that I think last time I checked is third worst in the league in stopping the run. So I think it'll be a lot easier for him to run the ball. Obviously, we know what he can do in the passing game. Claypool's out. He's going to get even more targets, if you can believe that, possibly, maybe 1 or 2. I mean, I see this a multiple touchdown, maybe over 200 combined yards game wouldn't shock me. The only thing that can stop him is when they take him out.
And that's totally fair. Consensus agrees with you. The rest of the industry has Harris and then at 1 and then Taylor at 2. I don't know. I just don't believe the Jaguars. I think they got their win. I think they're still celebrating at Urban's Chop House in Columbus. I think they're going to have a late night. They're going to come in, fingers smelly, doing, trying to get back on track. And I just don't think it's going to work. Personally. Going down, I think Dalvin Cook's a stud when he's healthy, and he's healthy right now. I know there's allegations against him, around him. It's a weird situation, and I don't think the NFL is going to touch him unless anything else comes out. It just seems weird. What I will say, and I'm guessing I'm lower on him, Alexander Mattison, the consensus has him at 49. I have him at 57, and I might move him lower. I might not rank him. When Dalvin Cook's healthy, Alexander Mattison doesn't see the field. So I'm not sure why people would hedge their bets and continue to rank Madison high or at all. Like he's useless when Cook's healthy.
Yeah, and I was thinking of picking Madison up, as a stash if anything happens to Cook, but I don't think he's going to get touched either. Multiple people pointed out, it's a civil case, the same type of case as Deshaun Watson. So really, the NFL doesn't have to do anything. Like this is not,
Mhm.
a Ben Roethlisberger from how long ago. It's not like one of those stories. Civil is very easy, is a lot easier to prove, so the NFL isn't going to like step in. That's one of the reasons, but when he's healthy, he's a stud. He finally seems like he's back. Um, but we'll see. I mean, this has just been a weird year for him. Obviously, health wise, efficiency wise, the whole 9 yards. But this should be a good game for him for sure with that matchup.
Yeah, Chargers, I mean, their secondary is pretty good. They have no concept of stopping the run. They refuse to even try, which I respect. Do what you got to do. But they should think about it this week, I would say.
I think
Uh,
as of 2 weeks ago, they gave up like 160 yards on the ground per game, which is just insane. I don't know how that's
yeah.
possible.
I'm pretty sure their yards per rush is given up is the highest in the league now. I think Kansas City has improved by one spot since then. Patriots running backs, it looks like they're all going to be fine, maybe. Like they all got knocked out with head injuries, but none of them got concussions. So I would watch that situation. I don't understand that situation. But as of now, I have Damien Harris at 18. Browns are a tougher matchup, but I'm not that afraid of that defense, to be completely honest. I think they're pretty good. I think it's going to be a low scoring, super ugly game. So I think his touchdown upside's lower, and that's why I just have him there. Ramondre Stevenson, I have at 38. I think he's going to be involved, especially in the receiving game. Then Brandon Bolden, 45. Once I get, news that everyone's healthy, I would probably move Stevenson and Bolden down slightly. I might leave Bolden where he's at, but I might move Stevenson down slightly. What do you think of the Patriots running backs?
You know what? We'll play a game called Help Trevor right now. Because I was actually going to talk about this because I'm in a very bad spot where I'm chasing, and I have Damien Harris, and it's between him for my running back too. I'm not that bad. Him, Jordan Howard, Pollard, Ingram, and Devonte Freeman. So nobody exciting. Just basically who's going to score a touchdown right now. I have Freeman because I mean the thing about Harris is that's Sunday game time when you have running backs on Thursday and Monday. It's not a 3 o'clock game, but it's still tough. For me, it's hard to gauge, and he's been even more touchdown dependent the last few weeks. I'm a little more off of him than usual, but that's also somebody who's had Harris the whole year, so I guess I'm a little more down than the average consensus.
Yeah, I have Harris ranked the highest out of the bunch, but I have Devonte Freeman the next highest. I think Devonte Freeman's going to have a good game. It sounds like Latavius Murray's out again. Obviously, you'd have to make this decision Thursday. It sounds like Murray's out again. It's sort of a homecoming for Freeman, who, from Florida, went to Florida State, yada, yada. So there's that. Miami's run defense isn't amazing. He should be the lead guy if they're getting close. He should be the guy to get a touchdown if it's not Lamar Jackson. And he's looked fine. Like he's not an amazing talent. He never has been. And he's just slower than he used to be. I'm not afraid of Le'Veon Bell. And I'm not afraid of Tyson Williams because the Ravens don't like him. So it seems like Freeman's a safe flex play this week, I guess.
Yeah, I mean Tyson Williams, it's weird. It's like he's a new kid at school, but the opposite. Like instead of being popular, everybody just hates him, and nobody knows why.
Yeah.
Like he does everything right, and everybody's like, "No, sit down." We've talked about this before. We don't need to go into it ad nauseum. I think the term is, but it's just it's weird. Something's going on.
Agreed. Is there any chats we can answer quick? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Domo. Should I trade Tyler Lockett and Michael Carter for James Robinson and Brandon Cooks? I would personally. I would do it. I don't trust Tyler Lockett. We could certainly see Odell land there. And I just like James Robinson much more than Michael Carter. And I think Brandon Cooks is solid this year. Do you have a different opinion?
No, Brandon Cooks is frustrating. He's actually my wide receiver 4 right now, which he's good for. He's great for that, which is frustrating because he gets so many targets, but he gets so few receptions because the ball is never where it should be. Tyra Taylor looked
Yeah.
horrible this past week. I mean, people are expecting him to boost Brandon Cooks. It might be the other way around, ironically. But with so many targets, he's got a hell of a safe floor.
What I will say as Luke joins us here, that last week was a must lose for the Texans. I think everyone was on board, and I think they let Tyrod only come back. Luke's peeping out his haters here after his fiasco in the chat last night.
Sister Jean, beware.
Yeah, all my homies hate Sister Jean.
I guess so. All your homies hated a lot of people last night.
A lot of people on my shit list.
Yeah. I think Tyra Taylor is going to be much better. I think it was a group effort to lose that game so they could ensure that they get that pick. Any other running back you want to talk about before we compare what I got here? No. I have Dearness Johnson currently ranked as if he is the starter against the Patriots. So I have him at 14. That's 9 spots higher than the consensus. Just talked about Freeman at 23. That's 3 spots higher. Mcnichols didn't have a great game last week. Doesn't take the genius to know why. I mean, the Titans were leading the entire game. He's a receiving back. He's a change of pace back. In a game where they could be trailing this week, he could be playing from behind. Who knows? They definitely will have less success running the football. I have him at 30, which is 5 spots higher. And I think between him and Peterson, I think they're going to be game plan specific, and you can play them as such going forward. And then Benjamin's another one I want to talk about. Obviously, Chase Edmonds went down. I think he was put on IR, which would mean 3 games out. I think he's just a plug and play. I don't think James Conner is going to see his role increase very much. I think he's going to be pretty much doing what Chase Edmonds did, maybe very, very, very slightly reduced. But I have him at 31, which is 13 spots higher than the consensus. Consensus has him at 44. And I'm just not worried about him. I think he's really good, actually. I think he's a pretty darn good player. Do either of you have thoughts on Benjamin, Mcnichols, or Dearness Johnson that we haven't shared yet?
I was just going to bring up, Zach, similar to what you were just saying. I don't think Benjamin is such a far step down from Chase Edmonds. I don't think Chase Edmonds is a superstar running back by any means. I mean, he's solid. Love to have him on the Packers, but he's not a guy like Derrick Henry who you have to pick guys up for to replace. And I don't just like you. I don't see James Conner taking over that. What?
Go.
No, there's something weird
so
going on with the
problems
chat.
with comments.
Oh.
So many problems. He's been a problem. Go on.
I have.
Like you said, I don't see James Conner getting the work that Chase Edmonds does, because James Conner, to me, has turned into this role of a goal line kind of back. Hence his 11 touchdowns this year. So if you have Chase Edmonds, I would imagine that you probably put a waiver wire in for Benjamin, and I would say play him with confidence, because I don't think he's that far a step down from Chase Edmonds.
So many people left Benjamin as a free agent, and that is ridiculous. Like, out of all the people, I have a couple leagues where so many people jumped on the bandwagon of Dearness Johnson and all these guys who are going to be maybe 1 week fixes. Benjamin is the real deal. All you need to do is see what he did on that touchdown run, I believe. I believe he got in on that run.
Yep.
All you have to do is watch that. You'll know exactly what you got in that same role as Edmonds, like you said. So if he's available, even if you don't have room, make some, because he's that good and he's going to be there for a while.
I have a question to pose to you guys too. I don't know how far you've dove into running backs here or anything, but would you play Benjamin over someone like Devonte Freeman?
Of
I have
course.
Freeman at 23, but so I have Freeman at 23, at Benjamin at 31. Like I said, I like Freeman this week. Sort of a homecoming going back to Florida. I'm not nervous about the Dolphins' run defense, and he seems to be the clear running back one right now. So I will take his established role over any slight mystery there is with Benjamin. But I think both are in RB2 flex territory.
Yeah.
You just had to raise a question over my running back room, which is nothing but question marks this week. So thank you. But yeah, I'd go Freeman. It just feels right. Like, it's a weird thing to say, right, when we talk about like stats and stuff, but it just feels right. Like, you don't even have to back it up. It just feels like his game. Feels like one of those games where he goes off on Thursday, everybody scrambles. Oh my God, I can't believe we didn't pick him up. And then he's shit the rest of the season.
Agreed. Players I'm lower on, I have Melvin Gordon at 22, which is 4 lower. I have Antonio Gibson at 28, which is 3 lower. I got a lot of shit for saying Antonio Gibson was droppable a couple weeks ago before his bye. And that was because all I said was, if you need a roster spot, you can drop him because he's not amazing. He had a bye week, and now he plays Tampa. And then I think he's got a couple more tough matchups coming up. So I don't feel comfortable starting Antonio Gibson even as a flex this week. What's your guys' thoughts on him?
The only thing, yeah, I agree, he sucks. But the only thing that to me is, I feel this year more than recently, this running backs are kind of depleted. I don't know if it's because of injuries or people are getting too scared and picking up 3 running backs on the same team or whatever. But I think if you have Antonio Gibson, you probably need to start him, because I would imagine that there's not great running backs out there, especially now. But the matchup isn't great. Tampa Bay, nobody can seem to run on Tampa Bay. So I wouldn't be excited about playing him, but I think if you have him, you kind of have to play him.
I think Elijah Mitchell is this year's Kenyon Drake. Like, if we're being honest, like, both were supposed to be taken in the second, mid to late second, early third. We're supposed to be studs, had okay starts, but you can kind of see the cracks, and now they just don't really have a role. And Jared Patterson has looked good for Washington as well. They already have McKissick. Like, there are a lot of mouths to feed there. And McKissick gets the passing work, majority of it. And guess what? Washington loses a lot, so they need to pass a lot. So I just don't like him at all. He's about to be on my Kenyon Drake list. So because he's on that very coveted list of people that I hate for the rest of my life, I would never be able to start him, but you could do worse.
So the front runner for Kenyon Drake of the year on Flurry Sports Fantasy Football Show is
It's got to be Antonio Gibson. It's not even close.
Okay. It's good to know. We'll check in next week.
Can I ask this question from a Wyatt? I'm not even
really
try
quick
to pronounce. Oh, go on.
Really quick, I just want to make the point that I have J.D. McKissick at 26 and Antonio Gibson at 28. Like, if I have both of them, I think I'm starting McKissick this week if it's half PPR or PPR. In standard, I'd still lean Gibson, but clearly they're going to have to pass against Tampa Bay. They're not going to be running well. You can ask the question.
Last thing, remember, can you imagine the people that thought he was going to be a sneaky person that won fantasy leagues, J.D. McKissick, and drafted him in like the 4th, 5th round? Crazy.
It's almost like that company now no longer writes articles. That's crazy.
It's almost like it might be related somehow. Come at us. You won't, because you can't write. Joke's on you. Anyways, thoughts on Elijah Mitchell for the rest of the season? I don't know if it's me reading too far into it, which is very likely. I'm not as high on him. I think he's a solid play, but I just feel like with some of these guys coming back from injury, I just don't know what's going to happen with his backfield.
I mean, as the 49ers continue to lose games, it's tough because anything could happen at this point. In games where they have control or it's a competitive game, I really like him. I think he's clearly the best running back. I think he's going to be fed the ball a lot, and he's a capable receiver. Like he's definitely their best running back. If they're playing from behind, I think they might bring in Hasty and do a little bit of stuff with him. Jeff Wilson's back now, and I know Shanahan loves Jeff Wilson for some reason. Juice is still there. So, like, I don't love him. I would consider him more RB2 than RB1. But, like, this week they play the Rams. And he's fine. Next week they play the Jaguars. I think he's probably going to be close to a top 12 guy for me in that kind of matchup. But, yeah, tough ones. I'm going to stay away as much as I can.
I do think that the return of George Kittle helps a little bit. Kittle's a great blocker. He can extend the field a little bit. He can open up the middle. So that's what I'd be excited about for Elijah Mitchell. Like you said, Zach, I think he is the best running back that's healthy right now on this team. And I think he's a guy that they really need to get going for their offense to get going, which their offense hasn't got going a lot lately, right? And I don't know why more people aren't talking about Kyle Shanahan being on the hot seat. But if the offense is going, I think it has to run through Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, Shanahan's interesting. Going to be his fourth losing season in 5 years. The one winning season was a Super Bowl run. And he doesn't like his quarterback that they just drafted. He did not want him. He wanted Mac Jones. So if it's a Trey Lance or Shanahan situation, I think Shanahan may be running back to Atlanta to be Matt Ryan's offensive coordinator again. What a fall from grace. Michael Giacone. What duo? Did I get it right?
Luke? That might be a little stereotypical, but we move.
No, hey, I did the hand motion. What duo do you guys like better? Dalvin Cook and Chris Carson, or Ezekiel Elliott and Fournette full PPR? That's actually really tough for me, at least. I think I like. I think I like Dalvin Cook and Chris Carson, but I think it's extremely close. What about you guys?
I don't know what to think about Chris Carson. He seems like he should be, a running back one, and he shows flashes of it, then he gets hurt and yada, yada, whatever. So I think just for the sake of, consistency, I think I like Ezekiel Elliott and Leonard Fournette a little bit more.
I like Zeke and Fournette more as well, because even before he got hurt, well, the last game where he got hurt, not so much, but his snap percentage went down every game. He wasn't really efficient on the ground much. He didn't have a lot in the air. And so for those reasons, and obviously the durability concerns, I got to give a slight edge to Zeke and Fournette. But that's tough, especially in full PPR.
Yeah, durability for sure. The other two are better. I'm slightly nervous about Zeke and Fournette splitting snaps a little bit more as their teams continue to win games, personally. Any other running back you guys want to talk about before we go to wide receiver?
Tony Pollard, is he a start even with Ezekiel Elliott playing?
In a flex. Yeah. Low-end flex for me. I still don't trust him. This week, obviously, Falcons are a decent matchup, so I think you can roll them out and feel okay, but I think the upside's limited.
Yeah.
Wide receiver one this week. I said I like Aaron Rodgers. I love Devonte Adams. He's my number one versus the Seahawks. I'll say this, back-to-back games of 160-plus yards against the Seahawks. That's 160. So I feel okay about him. Cooper Kupp at 2 at the 49ers. Tyreek Hill 3 at the Raiders. Chris Godwin currently at 4 versus Washington, or at Washington. Apparently has a bit of a foot injury. We need to keep tabs on that. And then wide receiver 5, I didn't really want to rank anybody, to be completely honest. I don't like anybody for like the next 5, but I have Michael Pittman Jr. versus the Jaguars right now. I think the Colts need to build some confidence. I think they need to try to smash the Jaguars. And I think Pittman's kind of a lock for like 7 to 10 targets every week. So he's my guy. And their tight ends suck. So if they're going to pass in the red zone, it's going to be to him.
I was going to say Pittman's.
What do you guys?
Pittman's been scoring a lot of touchdowns too.
Yeah. So Luke, what do you think of those 5, including Pittman?
I was actually going to make an argument for Chris Godwin to be top 5, and you have him there. So that kind of clears me up a little bit. I'm sure you guys talked about Aaron Rodgers. I think, Zach, you said that you like Aaron Rodgers this week. I love the Packers offense this week. I don't think Seattle poses that much of a threat. Seattle always plays terrible at Lambeau Field. Rodgers seems to usually throw 4 or 5 touchdowns against them every time they're here. So I'll take Devontae Adams number 1 because he is obviously that number 1 on that offense. Cooper Kupp, same thing. He's Matt Stafford's guy. Never bad to be Matt Stafford's guy.
True.
Yeah, same with Devonte. I don't know if it was just me too, but Devonte's body language as the Kansas City game went on was very apparent. Dude, I mean, I won't say anything about whether he likes Jordan Love or not. That's irrelevant. You could tell he was getting pissed, and he's like, just give me fucking Aaron Rodgers back. Like, just give me him back. I want to destroy dudes again. Dudes might just be as pissed as Rodgers right now. They could go out and Devontae could have 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and I really want to bat an eye. I would not be surprised at all.
Especially, I assume Rodgers is on Devontae's side, and regardless of what anybody else thinks, they both want Odell Beckham Jr. on the team, and I don't think Odell's going to be making his decision before Sunday. So if they want to make a statement that you should join our team and not the team that we're beating the shit out of, I think Devontae is going to, like 160 yards in back-to-back games against them. To your point, 200 is realistic. I think his floor is 120. He should have a great game. Make up for lost time. AJ Brown, I have at 6. I don't know what Marshawn Lattimore, like where he's going to go in terms of covering a Titans guy. I also don't really trust Tannehill. Stephon Diggs, I don't trust the Bills that much. I certainly don't trust Stephon Diggs. I have him at 7. CeeDee Lamb, I almost put at number 5. I have him at 8 versus the Falcons. He should have a good game. But is it going to be him? Is it going to be Amari Cooper since it's a home game? I don't know. Man, I don't know. Like, do either of you guys think one of these other 5 guys should be a top 5 receiver this week? Because I can't tell.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you, Zach. I mean, I'm sure they all can have top 5 weeks. It just, it's kind of, it seems like a tough group to predict. We had talked about AJ Brown last week. They played the Rams, Sunday Night Football, right? And we had talked about, could Jalen Ramsey be Tannehill's not going to throw his way because Jalen Ramsey's there, right? AJ Brown had 11 targets. Only 5 of those turned into receptions. But I don't think that Ryan Tannehill really worries about who's covering the receiver, and he just kind of throws now that Derrick Henry's gone. So I don't think Marshawn Lattimore worries me very much because I think as long as Derrick Henry's out, I think AJ Brown, and who knows what's going on with Julio Jones, but as long as AJ Brown's healthy in there, I think he's almost matchup proof because Ryan Tannehill still got to throw the ball to someone, and he, especially against the Rams, he was peppering AJ Brown with targets. So I'm not too worried about this about AJ Brown's role in this offense or if he's being guarded too much. I think Ryan Tannehill just throws him the ball whenever needed.
I'm not worried about the role either. Oh, go on.
11 targets though turned into wide receiver 42.
Yeah,
like it doesn't matter. Like Tannehill's not that good, and AJ Brown is fine.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And also, AJ Brown has dropped some very easy passes, and that scares the hell out of me. So you have a not great quarterback, a wide receiver that drops a lot of easy shit. I don't think he should ever, for this year, for the rest of the year, be ranked top 5, unless literally teams are saying we'll leave him open the whole game. Because I just can't trust the hands, and I feel like every week there are 3 guys that are going to be above him, and I think there are going to be 2 guys that just have great games. And I don't think AJ Brown's going to ever beat any of those 5 guys.
I agree. They play the Texans next in top 5 in that matchup, just to be honest. Other wide receivers that are notable, Hunter Renfrow I have at 26. He's playing a pretty big part there. Brandon Ayuk has certainly come around a little bit, playing the Rams this week. I think Ramsey's going to follow Debo, and I like Ayuk. I have him at 30. He could definitely outperform that. Anybody else you guys want to talk about before we jump to the comparison?
I was just going to bring up Hollywood Brown. This Ravens game seems like a big rushing game to me. I think all 3 healthy running backs get maybe 10 touches. Lamar Jackson seems like a 15-touch kind of guy. Where does Marquis Brown fit into this offense against Miami tomorrow night?
I mean, what do I am at 13 or so?
You have a
I
13, yeah.
like him. I think the Dolphins are going to try to dare Lamar Jackson to pass in a similar way that they did, 2 years ago when Lamar Jackson threw for like 300, 400 yards against him or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect that type of game, but, I talked about the Devonte Freeman going back to Florida. Lamar Jackson's going back to Florida, too.
Going
He's
home.
going to be, feeling good. I like him. I like Marquis Brown. I like all these guys. I think the Dolphins cornerbacks are still pretty good, but I think the Rashad Bateman presence is actually a legit thing. I think he's a really good young receiver that needs some sort of attention. So Marquis Brown, I think he's going to get his opportunities, and it just matters, if you can convert them. We can certainly see a couple big drops, but I like him quite a bit.
Yeah, Brown's had 4 games with 10-plus targets. 3 of them have been within the last 4 weeks, and that's also with his snap count going up basically exactly with that too. And last time he played in Miami, first career start, 4 receptions, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. Only playing 18% of the snaps. So Miami killer after 1 game.
Yeah,
maybe.
That was his
Trevor
first
deep dive.
First game as a pro, I think.
Yeah.
Week 1, 2 years ago. Yeah.
You mind if I pose a question from Michael?
Is it
the same Michael?
What will Brown's stats be if he plays 80% of the snaps? Because we can just multiply that by 6.
It is. Are you worried about Falcons' legal issues? I think he meant Dalvin, and it auto-corrected. Zach, you and I talked about it earlier. We're not worried since it was a civil case, and NFL really doesn't do much with that. Luke, are you on board, or do you feel differently?
I'm on board. I mean, I feel like with every single case like this, NFL lets these guys play until they've finished the investigation and collected all their information, and then deal with it, come that time.
Yeah, if it is Falcons, let us know, because I don't know if there's legal issues, but at this point, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I don't know. Is Matt Ryan in trouble? I hope so.
They tried to take out his kneecaps because he wasn't tanking hard enough.
I don't get his deal. Like, he has to be the most hated person in Atlanta's building. Like, all you gotta do is suck. Like, Calvin Ridley got the message. Why can't you?
And he started off sucking too. That's the best part.
I know.
And he's like, no.
I just wanted to bring up too, Lamar Jackson home game, right? Devonte Freeman home game, both from Florida. Hollywood Brown's also from Florida.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And his name is Hollywood Beach in Florida, right? So
yeah, right.
Double ad there.
We have a triple home game for the road team.
Clearly, we know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We know it will happen.
52-3 Baltimore.
It honestly could be. It would not surprise me. The Dolphins are so bad. Comparison here, my rankings to the consensus. Like I said, I have Pittman at 5. That's 4 spots higher than the consensus. They have him at 9. I have Hopkins at 14. I assume people are just kind of nervous about his health, so whatever. Brandon Ayuk, I have at 30. That's 7 spots higher. Russell Gage at 38. That's 8 spots higher. This one doesn't make sense to me. I have Tre'Quan Smith at 49, so that's not very high. That's 17 spots higher than the consensus. So people are ranking Tre'Quan Smith at 66, which is below like everybody. I guess I don't understand that one. He was fine last week. He didn't have a big day. He had 3 catches, I think, but it's for like almost 60 yards. I don't know. Jamal Agnew I have at 50. That's 5 spots higher. Jamal Agnew's a stud. Start giving him a little bit of respect there. And that's it. I don't care about any of the other guys. Lower on Diggs, lower on Jefferson, lower on McLaurin. All 3 spots lower. Yeah, Luke?
We talked about Dan Arnold kind of filling that role of the deep threat now that DJ Chark is out. Is Jamal Agnew actually going to be the guy to do that?
No, I think he's the Travis Etienne role.
Okay.
I think they're kind of using him as like a gadget and stuff, and he's playing well. And obviously, if your league counts return yards or return touchdowns, if he happens to get it, The Jaguars always have good special teams, and he's the return guy. So I think he's worth a look.
Also, Dan Arnold did not fill the Chark role. He filled the Dan Arnold role they didn't know they had. So let's put that there.
He filled the Tim Tebow role.
We have stop, please don't do that to Dan Arnold.
Shout out Tim Tebow.
We do have
or the same number.
here.
Like he's just a Tebow wannabe. Yeah, Reed Clap Nuts is common.
Shout out Clap Nuts. Love this guy.
Full PPR. Should I trade Cooks? I'm assuming Brandon Cooks and DeAndre Swift for Cordell Patterson and McLaurin. No, absolutely not.
No. DeAndre Swift better than Patterson and McLaurin combined.
Was it like an obvious no for you guys?
I think so.
Yeah. Especially with Swift. He's not a great runner, but he's a great in the passing game in full PPR. Oh, yeah.
I think I would take the trade. To be completely honest. I think Patterson's just as good as Swift, and I think McLaurin's better than Brandon Cooks. Like, I don't trust DeAndre Swift at all. He does all of his work in the fourth quarter.
You fake Lions fan. You faker. Support your guy.
Well, if the Lions are going to be leading, then they're not going to need him to catch a bunch of passes in the fourth quarter.
You got me there. That's fair.
Yeah. There you go. I think it's close. I think it's honestly close. I feel fine holding still because clearly McLaurin could continue being what he is, or he could improve to what he should be. I think it's close, though. I don't know. Is there another question?
Alex McBuckets. Should I trade Jeremy Mcnichols for Jarvis Landry? I don't think so. I don't think there's a defined role for Landry.
Yeah, Landry's clearly not healthy either. Like if he was healthy, I think it'd be close. It depends on your position need. But like I was talking about Mcnichols earlier, like if the Titans are going to be trailing, he's going to see a lot of work. So I think he needs to hang on to him going forward.
Are we completely sure that Jarvis Landry is a good football player too?
Not necessarily anymore.
Yeah. I think
I'm not sure.
Him and Odell got too buddy and tried to get to the same team together, and they both ended up sucking.
I guess so. I guess like he's dropping passes, which is just not Landry. I don't know. Makes me nervous. What was Henry? I saw Henry's thing here. Anything important? Is Henry just talking shit?
I got something important.
It was Henry. No.
Okay. What do you got, Luke?
It's also a return home game for Sammy Watkins. He also grew up in Florida.
Oh, okay. Maybe he plays.
Right.
A lot of guys. That's actually kind of. Oh, okay.
Is Jarvis Landry the most underappreciated wide receiver the last 10 years? Like I just looked.
Over that time span, maybe.
Yeah, just how he pulls it, probably.
In PPR, he was a top 18 wide receiver 5 years straight.
Without like scoring any touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's also wild.
He's a good player.
Yeah, it's also wild that Jacoby Myers hasn't scored a touchdown. I heard you guys kind of talking about him yesterday, but
no, he scored. He's passed for one. But he has not caught one.
I think he's passed for 2. Like Belichick's not going to let him get one either. He likes NFL history too much.
Did I read that right? That he's got the most receiving yards without a touchdown in NFL history?
Probably. Like it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know that for sure.
That's wild.
Guess. Good for him. Moving on to tight ends here. I have Travis Kelsey still at 1 versus the Raiders. I think the Chiefs bounce back this week. Darren Waller at 2. George Kittle 3. Mark Andrews 4. Mike Gesicki 5. Where's Mark Andrews and Gesicki from? That's kind of Gesicki's. They're not Florida guys. We don't even need to look. They're probably
Andrews is Arizona.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with these comment things. Okay. Sorry. What do you think of those 5 tight ends, Trevor?
To be honest, I heard a tight end name and I kind of phased out. I got so bored. Kelsey is tough, man, because something is very wrong with Mahomes. And that makes me worried. And also something's wrong with Kelsey. Like even when he gets the ball, he's dropping them.
A lot.
Yeah, like a lot. And I think it just compounds the problem. But again, we get back to it. All these tight ends, even the good ones this year, are bad, right? So I think he's a solid one. Um, I might have Pitts above Gesicki just because of the targets, but even then, I mean, he has trouble hauling them in. So, even that, I can see why he's at 6 as well.
Travis Kelsey, I like him at 1 a little more than the others because, Kansas City can't have felt great about the win last week, right? And this is a big division matchup for Kansas City to realistically get back to the top of the division. Travis Kelsey just too good of a player to not be used in big games like this. And they always have those weird wildcat sets or take Mahomes out, put Kelsey in a quarterback down by the goal line. Against the Packers, Mahomes was looking to him at the goal line. He scored a touchdown. I think Kelsey's got way too much of a touchdown upside, plus all these weird gadget plays to, not rank him outside the top 2 probably.
Also, I mean, like if Kansas City wins this week and if the Chargers lose, I think Kansas City's first in the division.
Mm-hmm.
They might need a Broncos loss as well. I'm not sure. But like I said, that last play by Patrick Mahomes is a great play on the move, was screaming loudly. It felt like a after credit scene in a movie, teasing like a Marvel after credit scene. I think he's back. I think this whole thing's going to be back. I think they're going to blow up. It's the fucking Raiders who are a joke of a team right now. Like they are not good. I think Mahomes is going to kill them.
Every single day, I feel like something new comes up from the Raiders, and I love it.
I disagree. I think this is a game where the Raiders go wild. Like I don't think they blow them out, but we're like, what are you doing? You just lost to the Giants. Like know your role or sit down until you figure it out, like the Falcons. And no matter what happens in this game, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, we will see Sunday Night Football. Whatever. I don't know. It's going to be something. Other tight ends, I have Pat Freiermuth at 10. Logan Thomas is expected to come off IR this week. I have him at 14 currently. Once he is fully activated, he may move up to like 11 or 10 or so. I don't love the matchup against Tampa. Yeah, not much else to say. I mean, Dawson Knox, we need to see if he's going to be playing with a broken hand. Gronkowski, we need to see how much he practices and what his deal is with back spasms, rib injuries, etc. I'm lower on Zach Ertz, lower on Tyler Conklin, lower on David Njoku, who people like for some reason. I don't get it, but whatever. Any other thoughts on these tight ends?
No, but we do have a question. Not about tight ends, about running backs. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Go for it.
From Bean Productions, AP or Mike Davis PPR. I have CEH as well. I'd take AP. I can't trust Mike Davis when they're behind at all anymore. And CEH, I mean, maybe CEH, but AP he looked good in his first game, and I'd stick with him.
I would agree.
Just for this week?
Looks like it, yeah.
I don't think CEH is going to play. So, I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd go AP. Mike Davis sucks.
Yeah, Mike Davis is not very good at football.
Okay, he got the memo. Like he figured out like, oh, we're taking this year off.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. Matt Ryan doesn't check his emails. Okay, do we want to give a guarantee and get out of here?
Yeah.
Yes. Can I quickly go over last week?
Go for it.
Luke said, Luke, boy, this didn't age well. Lamar under 50 rushing yards.
Tough.
All he did was tie the record for most 100-yard rushing yards in a quarterback with Mike Vick. So that was wrong. He is now 0-11. I said Mark Ingram would have a touchdown. He did not. So that's 3-1-5. Zach said Josh DeGuara would outscore Mercedes. He did. He was also shit, but it hits for Zach. So he is 2-1-6.
Okay, I'll start. I have one I thought about looking at the comparison. So, like I said, I have Eno Benjamin ranked 31. The consensus has him ranked 44. I will split the difference, and I'll even make it a little bit harder. I'm going to say he's a top 35 running back this week in half PPR.
Like it. Before I go, Latavius Murray and backup quarterback Tyler Huntley are also from Florida. But
Okay.
I'm going to go against the grain here. It's going to sound like an easy one, but this player's not on the team. I'm going to go Odell Beckham catches one or more passes on Sunday.
Okay. I don't think he was even going to be eligible to play if he signs with the
I was
team.
just about to say.
Oh, really?
I don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get another one. Get another one.
Yeah.
All right.
Try one more.
All right. Now, Trevor, you go. Now I got to think.
Okay. I feel it's insane saying this because it feels automatic, which is weird for the stats. But we talked about Devonte. He's had 3 games this year over 100 receiving yards, only 2 games with over 10 catches. I say he gets both double-digit catches and over 100 receiving yards, which go pretty easy hand in hand, but seeing how few times he's done it in air quotes for a guy of his caliber, and seeing how he's been the past 3 weeks, I think it's a given.
I like it. Henry says Mike Davis is droppable. I concur. There's no upside there. Like, he's one of the few players who is starting and has absolutely zero upside.
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, my guarantee.
Luke's got to make his guarantee.
That's right.
He makes one you don't like, and you don't give him another chance.
Give me
I forgot.
Give me Marquis Brown over 100 yards receiving.
Okay.
Shit. Man, Luke, I need Marquis to do well, and you're 0-11. Can you pick another player, please?
Nope. I got him in like 9 out of my 11 leagues, so I need him to do well too.
That's the kiss of death. I hope you're right, though. Over 100 plus receiving yards, you said?
Yep, 100 plus. Hey, Trevor, I'm due.
That is 100% correct.
Sure. We make weekly picks, and this is week 10. He's 0-11. They said it couldn't be done. Okay, so we will be back in like 10 minutes with the Lombardi sweep, talking about the Packers. Lots of stuff to talk about. Obviously, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, and the upcoming matchup against the Seahawks. Subscribe, share this thing, and join us in like 10 minutes.